Oh my God, I bet I start crying on this video.
Get Chanel back in the store if you want it. I gave them the drill, they sucked it up, I got them on it. I bought a new bed, I had it white, so I two-toned them. Taking these drugs, I'm gonna be up until
Everything I go through as a person living with anxiety every single day. If you are new here, welcome. If you're not new here, then you already know that I talk about mental health a lot, not just my mental health, but I speak about anxiety, depression, things I went through, just a lot of different things mental health related. But today I'm going to talk about how is it as a person dealing with anxiety. Like what is my thought process? Like why do I think certain things, or how do I think certain things with certain situations? And I've never really took the time to sit down and make a video about it, nor have I ever really took the time to like go to a person and like, okay, this is how I operate in anxiety. Or even if I have tried to explain certain things, it is has not always been broken down into sections. It's always been just enough for that situation, if that makes sense. So like if I'm in a social setting, I might say something like, okay, I deal with social anxiety, but I might not speak about the other types of anxiety that I deal with because it's not relevant to the situation right now. So if that makes sense. So if y'all see me look on my phone, I did add a few notes in there because my memory is a little bad and I don't want to forget nothing, which I probably did forget to put something on the list, but we're going to go off of what I can right now. Number one, me being in large crowds give me anxiety really, really bad, especially when I'm by myself. Like, say for example, if you have ever invited me somewhere that I had to go to alone with multiple people, so say, there was some type of gathering event, and we know each other, but I don't know the other people. So of course, that person is going to be socializing with other people, rightfully so. The whole time my nerves, it's like I don't know what to do in this setting. I'm not the type to go around and, speak to people and introduce myself, things like that. Because again, I have really bad anxiety. And part of that I feel like comes from my childhood. Growing up, I was always in my room, door closed, all the time. I'm not gonna go too deep into details into why, but a lot of feelings that I felt at the time growing up are not true, and I know that now. But at the time, I felt as if I wasn't loved growing up. But that's not the case. So let me reiterate that, not the case. I know that now, but at the time, I did feel that way. Now, so back to the social settings. So say and also a lot of the things that contributed to my social anxiety was the fact that I was extremely overweight. Even now, I'm a little insecure with my body wise, which is why I always say that I'm always on some type of journey to better myself. But my weight was one of the things as to what contributed to my anxiety. Like even in the summertime, I will have on hoodies and big t-shirts, and that's really one of the reasons why y'all see me in t-shirts a lot now, because I was so accustomed to that growing up that I have not gotten out of it yet. Like it's like I want to hide my stomach, things like that. So I was used to doing it. Like I've been to a point where I was in a 2X. This shirt I got on right now is either medium or small, I can't remember, but it's just that was one of the things that contributed to it too, because I didn't really lose the weight that I wanted to until I was like in my 20s. So I dealt with that the majority of my, childhood, feeling like insecure, hiding myself, feeling like people was looking at me, talking about how fat I was or whatever. And y'all, granted, I did have some weight on me, but the weight that I had, you would think that I was just like 400 pounds or something. That's not the case. But at the same time, we all are insecure in some different ways, or have been in some different ways. Now, I did mention the social setting. So, of course, large crowds. I'm not the person to speak in a room full of people. I don't, even the times where I would go out, you will never see me dancing unless I was drunk. And I haven't been drunk in it's been a couple years. I haven't had any type of alcohol in almost 2 years now as far as being drunk. It might have been that long, I can't really remember. But that was the only time I felt like that I could actually enjoy myself when it comes down to dancing, not worried about people like judging me. Even though has not been the case. When you have anxiety, you feel like people are watching you. You think of every negative scenario in your head, even though that's not the case. But it's hard to battle yourself with those thoughts. Okay, so me, as far as anxiety with feeling unloved, or how it has or affects like relationships, dating, whatever. Now again, back to when I said growing up I didn't really feel like I was loved. I feel like I took that into my adulthood. So say for a minute, like I never, like anytime I've gotten approached, if I got approached by someone when I was in my late teens, early 20s, I didn't really believe it. I didn't take them serious because, for one, I was insecure with my weight. So I just automatically thought, oh, they just want to have sex with me, so I'm not going to even entertain it. And I moved off of it that way for a lot of my life. And the few times that I did actually entertain it, of course, you know, we all live and learn. We have lessons that we learned. It didn't work out, whatever. I'm not tripping on that. But another part of my anxiety was affected during those times also. So like when I finally, say for example, when I actually decided to take dating seriously around those times, I was so like to the point where, okay, somebody actually like me or care about me or whatever, so I'm going to do whatever I can to make this person happy, even if it means I'm unhappy. And I moved like that for a while. Like, I'm not, without going into details, I was in a 2-year relationship and I was not satisfied. I'm just gonna leave it there. But I just, off the strength of the fact that I kind of at some point felt love for the first maybe year, and then I realized, you know, that ain't what it was, and I still stayed around trying to make it work until I got to a point to where I actually overdosed. And that's where another part of my mental health journey come in. When I talk about how I tried to commit or whatever, I went in my cabinet, took a bunch of pills, and then I smoked. So I was hoping that I didn't wake up, which I thank God to now that I did. But it was a lot going on during that time. My grandma was dying. There was a whole lot going on. But I was very vulnerable at the time. So, and back to, like I said, as far as like relationships wise, like, I'm not the type that, okay, every little thing that a person does not make me anxious. However, I do require consistency as well as open communication. So say I pay attention to every little thing. So say I notice a change in a person, like say we, you know, this person showed up as this person at the beginning, and a few months down the line, this is starting to change, communication. Like, it's a lot of things starting to change. I'm going to pick up on it and I'm going to mention it because in my mind, like, okay, this is starting to change. I might start automatically thinking like, oh, well, this is about to end, because I know how, you know, certain situations go. You can kind of notice certain things before it actually happens. Or I'll mention it so, you know, the situation won't happen because I actually, you know, care, or it bothers me enough to the point where, okay, I want to fix this. And one of my problems is I feel like I can fix anything. Or I have to fix every little thing. And even if it's not as big as, you know, even if it's not a big situation, I feel like that I want to fix it. Because again, if I ever be in a situation to where I actually feel like I'm some type of loved or cared about, I try to fix it. Because again, I didn't feel that love like in my younger years. So it's like anybody that I get that from, I try to keep around, if that makes sense. Like, and that's one reason why I don't like to get close with a lot of people, because for one, I don't like going through the disappointment of feeling, okay, I'm close with this person, things are going good, whether it's friendships, relationships, whatever, and then next thing you know, it's the complete opposite, and I'm like crushed because I don't really have it in me no more. I've dealt with, you know, certain situations, but I hate the feeling of disappointment. I think everybody do. It's a normal emotion. It is what it is. But that's just one of the things where I move how I move when it comes down to dating, relationships, whatever. Because again, I did not, like, for one, I didn't take people seriously in my younger years because I felt like that they just only wanted one thing. And when I finally got to the point where, okay, look at me, you ain't ugly, you have a lot going for yourself, you have a kind heart, I'm not a perfect person at all. I've never cheated, but of course, like, that's not anything that's like, you can be a bad person and still not cheat or whatever. So I'm not throwing that in there for that. But I do, you know, consider another person's feelings. But at the same time, I'm starting to actually consider myself a little bit more these days, because in the past, whatever, like, I would disregard the fact that, okay, well, this has me up all night crying or feeling some type of way, and I would just disregard my feelings about it just to make the next person happy. And that's one of the things that contributed to my depressive episodes. And that's friendships and relationships, right? So yeah, even with that, like, I notice certain little things and I feel like I have to fix it, or I'll, you know, okay, I don't want to bring this up because I don't want this to push this person away. But if it's something that's really serious to me, why would I, you know, it's kind of hard. So it'll stay on my mind. Like, I have to communicate certain things. I can't just have things in the back of my mind, because it's going to very much so bother me. And the last time that I did that, which I'm not gonna lie, like, it wasn't recent, it was probably about a month ago. And I completely, like, blew up. Like, I had I don't want to call it a crash out moment, but I was spiraling. I had a very spiraling moment, and that's before I was during, that was after my therapy, honestly, because I started therapy probably 2 months ago. I don't know, but yeah. So I did notice that I can't do that. Another thing that my anxiety tends to put me into isolation, because sometimes I will have these random waves to where I feel like don't nobody care about me, people want to use me, and I know that's not true. I know that is not true. I promise I know that's not true. I have parents that love and care about me. I have a best friend that calls me every day. I have other friends that text me pretty much every day, every other day. I don't have a lot of people that I talk to on a regular. I don't. But I have, a good amount of people. I have a good amount of people that I know that I can, if I call, if I text, they have, like, I posted something. Like, I don't even really get on Snapchat. I posted something on Snapchat last night because I was crying last night because I just felt like, I felt alone. Like, I'm at home by myself. I don't really go many places. I don't really go around a lot of people. And I just felt so freaking alone. Like, I really needed a hug in a moment, and there's no one around that I could get one from. Oh my God, I better not start crying on this video. But yeah, there was no one around that I could get one from. And, it just made me sad a little bit, but it's cool. Like, I just feel like I'm not the best. Like, I'm not perfect. Nobody is, but I do feel like I'm genuinely a good person. And it kind of hurts that certain things that I have to deal with in my life that I do have to deal with. I don't know. It's whatever. But, so I stay in isolation because, for one, I don't like to, I'll go out in public and then I get anxiety about being around a lot of people. I get irritated and want to come home. It's hard. It really is. It's so hard. But I also say, like, I have brands and businesses that I'm trying to grow and build brands for sure. And how I'm going to do this sitting in the house all the time? Like, it has to go past social media. Like, past me sitting in these 4 walls recording videos in the house. It has to, and I know that. So that's another thing that I've been fighting with, trying to make myself get out a little more. And I have. Like, I had 2 outings back to back with 2 different friends. One friend birthday, and then the week before that, another friend we called up as well. But I'm trying to do more. So that's another thing that I'm working on. Also, I kind of require, like, when I touched on a little bit, like, relationship, dating, whatever, reassurance. Like, if I have to wonder certain things, like, dang, okay, do this person, and it's not just like I can control a lot of the, well, not the thoughts, but I can control my actions on a lot of it, because I don't always move off of how my anxiety makes me feel, because a lot of times I already know it's just my anxiety and it's not enough for me to, like, act a certain way towards another person. But also, realistically, if you are dealing with somebody, you're gonna have to give that person some type of reassurance, some type of, okay, I care about you, some type of, consistency. And that's one thing that, I'm not gonna lie, inconsistency triggers me real bad. It triggers me really bad. But enough of the relationship dating talk, because enough of that. But it's more so the fact that I just be feeling alone a lot of the times. And I recently said I was gonna give me a puppy or a dog or something, because I feel like I needed that for emotional support. I don't want to always continuously rely on humans, which I shouldn't have to rely on the animal for that, but at the same time, I feel like I need something else other than just me. Like, I don't want to, I'm not as close to any friends that's out here. I want to say I'm probably 40 minutes from every friend that I have out here in the DFW area, so it's not like a meet me at the store real quick type of thing. It has to be planned. Like, I'm close to nobody for real. And that sucks, but again, it's life. I just have to adjust and do what I need to do for myself. Sometimes I don't be feeling like talking on the phone. I get irritated very easily. And caffeine contributes to my anxiety as well. I do drink caffeine every single day, which is not really good. But during the times where I try to wean myself off of it, I get very irritable. I get irritated with everybody and every single thing. A fly is irritating anyway. But a piece of a lint can be sitting right here, and I just get irritated. Very irritating. So the times that I do decide, okay, I'm not gonna drink caffeine today, I have to make sure that I ain't doing nothing, because I can't do nothing because I'm very irritated, and that's caffeine withdrawal. Like, that's one of the symptoms, as well as headaches or whatever. But it's a whole lot of things that affects my anxiety, and I can't really pinpoint every single thing, but I'm literally always worried about every little thing. I'm always thinking the worst. Sometimes, like, I try to have a positive mindset, and if y'all follow my social media, I always try to give other people positivity too, because that is how I function. But at the same time, I still I'm going back and forth with my thoughts. Like, I know, okay, keep this positive mindset. You know, today gonna be a great day, but then I have my anxiety. You're everything wrong. You're wrong. You're a bad person. You're a horrible person. Everybody hates you. Nobody loves you. Like, that's just the you know how you have the devil and the angel on one. That's what anxiety is like. That's exactly what it's like. I've never used that analogy, but that's exactly what it's like. But it's a lot more, and this video is like 15 minutes long, and honestly, I can really go on and on. It really is a lot more, but that's just what I can think of off the top of my head right now. And I'm so glad I got through this video without being super emotional, because I really was in an emotional state before I did start recording, and I talk fast, I think. Anyway, but I do thank y'all so much for tuning into this video. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends, family. If you deal with some of the same things, drop it in the comments, let me know. Or if you deal with anxiety, any type of mental health issue, let me know in the comments.